Yes, we did turn the camera on, get out of the truck, and get back in.
Nope, the camera was on the entire movie.
And that's how I wanted to start the first time.
Alright, boys.
The Avengers.
Avenged my expectations. No, you know, the truth is, this is the most cynically I've ever watched a movie in my life.
My overall is that movie was rad.
The movie was cool, but, you know, again, it's just that nitpicky in me.
I'll tell you that the Avengers made me feel like an
It made me feel like a resentful because on the one hand, I know I'm the going in there and just nitpicking the out of this movie. On the other hand, I know that this movie was a product thrust upon me. So it pisses me off on two levels.
Yeah.
At the same time, it was a fun movie. You know, what are you going to do?
It was a fun movie. I understand that it's a film that you have to suspend disbelief, but it still had its own set of rules and its own reality. And the scene...
Spoiler alert!
When Captain America rips the door open and goes and finds the munitions bunker. It's like we're on a space-age ship, an aircraft carrier that flies invisibly and indetectably. There is nothing saying that he ripped the nuclear munitions bunker door open.
Yeah, the security breach of that level and red lights aren't going off everywhere.
Yeah, that really bummed me out because it was sort of unimportant. And then they completely disregard their own reality. So it's the little stuff. There were some little things that definitely got to me.
It was almost exclusively little things for me. It was all the same stuff as the other movies. Actually, it was the cumulative effect of all the same stuff from the other movies.
Yeah.
It was Loki's costume, which looked like something out of some weird, bad sci-fi from the 1950s, and the Hydra weapons, and okay, the one thing that drove me crazy, spoiler alert, and I know the reason they didn't do it, but it would have solved the entire problem right off the bat. The portal machine is impenetrable, but it's sitting at the top of one of the tallest towers in the city, and they have a man who can smash through anything. All they had to do was pull a 9/11 on that tower.
Oh.
Please don't kill me, it was just a mistake. I know I shouldn't have said it. Please don't kill me, an awful mistake. You know that I regret it. Don't take things too seriously and don't react too furiously. Please don't kill me, I swear I'll never do it again.
And problem solved.
Okay,
but like I said, I understand why they couldn't do it. You can't do a 9/11 in a movie.
You can't even talk about it. A movie set in New York City with massive destruction.
I understand.
You can't even talk about it in the review, Gabe. I'll be honest. The fact that it was set in New York City was kind of shocking to me with all the destruction and then like the memorial stuff. It was like, couldn't this have been somewhere else? I don't know. I thought Stark was an LA guy.
Was he?
In the first Iron Man, he's in California, San Francisco, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, then why the was it in New York?
Because
why was it in New York?
That was the statement. He wanted an audience, and the center of the world is...
LA would have totally worked.
Yeah, except for you're not going to get like the crazy architecture, huge downtown.
Yeah, it wouldn't look as good. The scenes wouldn't look as good in LA.
I don't know about this whole reviewing thing. I feel like if I had just gone to watch it, I would have liked it a lot more, but I was nitpicking the crap out of it. Okay, another scene that I just couldn't stand. On the car ride down, I cited the stupid plane crash scene with Captain America as the weakest link of that movie. And then they have to give us a flashback. I'm already pissed about Captain America. And it's like, we all know it's Captain America. They didn't need to go into that.
Nobody's going into this movie not knowing what's already going on.
Exactly.
And if you are, you're going to be lost anyway. It's not like that gets you up to speed on everything.
Okay, so what did you like about the movie?
It was fun. Like, it was just a fun movie. One of the things we talked about wasn't actually a problem at all. It was Tony Stark's character interacting with the other characters.
That was one of the things that I liked about it is, like, how do you do that? How do you have Thor and Captain America and Iron Man and the Hulk and all those different characters and give them enough screen time to where it feels balanced? And they really did that.
They did a great job. Mark Ruffalo is awesome
I really like Mark Ruffalo, and I love Edward Norton, but at the same time, I don't need Edward Norton now. I didn't feel like, oh, if only Edward Norton were playing this role, it would be so much better. Because I like Ruffalo a lot.
No, I watched the Ed Norton one, and I actually like Ruffalo better as the Hulk.
And that one scene when he hulks out on that alien thing.
That scene was awesome.
He ruled my world in that.
No, the best scene of the whole entire movie.
Spoiler alert!
Is when he's upstairs with Loki. And then he just smashes the crap out of him.
Oh, yeah.
That scene.
Yeah, that was just magic. I don't know if Whedon was responsible for it, but you always end up giving credit to the director. But they did a lot of fighting against expectations. When the new assistant to Nick Fury chick comes in, because I'm being a cynical douchebag on this thing, I was actually thinking, because she's not a named character and she's new, and suddenly she's put in peril, she's dead. She's the easily expendable member of this cast. And I said, but if they really wanted to go against expectations, what they'll do, spoiler alert, is they'll make her almost die a bunch of times, but keep her alive. And they did it.
Yeah.
No, they didn't at all, Gabe. That is a name character.
Well, she's not a name actress as well.
But she is in every cartoon.
Okay, all right. I didn't realize we had a Comic-Con convention going on in here. Like I said, never gave a shit about the Avengers.
Yes, I get it, okay.
I stand corrected. To all the nerds watching us,
wait.
I am sorry.
Next problem with the movie.
Spoiler alert.
Stark flies into space and then falls back.
Maybe the door was like,
No. He
gravity
fell.
powers.
You know what would have been way cooler? And they should have consulted me because I would have done a better job.
Joss Whedon is watching this.
I know.
Just so you know.
Yeah. Joss, you should have consulted me. The nuclear blast should have gone off last minute and shot Stark back through the portal as it was closing.
Oh, that actually would have been a lot.
I'm like, he's falling and there's a nuclear blast happening. Why? And then it would have made way more sense why Hulk would have had to save him, because he would have been being projected to the surface of the earth. Like, he's in the Iron Man suit. He can fall from 200 feet. He's getting smashed by aliens and thrown across the city and he's fine, but now he's falling. No, if he'd have been like rocketing through, way cooler. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, come on.
I blame that on not enough time. They were jamming this script through. It was like, we gotta fast track this one. There was no 27 revision processes like most movies of this nature go through. And I feel like I like Joss Whedon's body of work. I don't like everything. I mean, he is responsible for Alien Resurrection. But ultimately, you have a pretty strong body of work. Other than that, I feel like he would have caught something like that upon further revisions. But like once they got it to a point where it was workable, it was like, okay, shoot it. We got to have this out next summer.
You got to admit, though, I mean, it was pretty well balanced.
Tony Stark's character steals the show. He's got all the best lines, all the best delivery.
Everything was so against Thor and Loki in this, in terms of likability. Because when you're talking like that, the beef I kind of have there, I wish they had gone like Coen Brothers with it, where Thor doesn't use contractions in his speech. It's always it is and never it's. I mean, Kenneth Branagh directed the Thor movie. Kenneth Shakespeare Branagh. I just would have loved to have seen that. I think it would have made it way campier and more fun. That's just my nitpick.
I think, I could have used...
I'm an admitted whiny.
My whole problem with the Avengers is that, like, Hawkeye, Black Widow, and Captain America all seem like such weenies.
Thor takes out like 500 guys coming through the portal, and like two of those giant sandworm things, and like they're on the ground like beating up 15 or 20 of the foot soldiers.
Well, yeah, exactly. And then we have to be stoked about Hawkeye doing a cool bow move.
It's not that Hawkeye's bow move isn't cool. It's that he's so outmatched in this fight.
So outmatched.
Just ridiculously
If he falls
outmatched.
down 100 feet, he's dead.
Well, you got to understand that like the original format for this wasn't these huge massive battles.
You see,
everybody had their own like individual niches that they've been.
And I agree.
It's not my problem with the movie. It's my problem with the Avengers in general.
And that's exactly what I'm saying, though. In the Avengers, like the comic book and stuff.
But let me say,
the Black Widow, that wasn't her main role. Was to like fight against giant alien forces. She
I see where you're going, Seth. But here's the problem I have with that. Every piece of art needs to be judged entirely on its own merit, and not on the source material, not on what came before or goes after.
And yet, you have to have those characters there.
I understand that.
No,
you have to have them there. So how do you make it work?
Well,
and
they make it work. They made it work fairly well. Black Widow should have done more espionage interrogation. they should have figured out a way for her to manipulate Loki again.
They did okay with what they had, but it really did come off feeling like these guys have to be here, so how do we use them?
Well, yeah, exactly.
It didn't feel natural, it didn't feel organic. What you should have had is you should have had a B plot going, where Captain America and Hawkeye and the Black Widow have something else important that they're doing.
Exactly. What you need is Black Widow doing seductive espionage.
Way seductive.
The scene with her and Loki was great.
That was great. More of that, and then the good guys should have used Hawkeye the same way that the bad guys did. The whole nighttime sneaking in, shooting arrows because they're quiet thing, that was
like
perfect.
Hawkeye could have led a great surgical strike force into Stark Tower, and maybe that could have gotten foiled, and suddenly you have added jeopardy.
I just think the full like extreme battle thing wasn't very fitting for Black Widow and Hawkeye. And then we could have used a little more character development on Captain America becoming the captain of the team, because that's the reason he's unexpendable, because he's not as powerful as everybody, but without him they wouldn't work together.
He's that motivating force. He's the Stars and Stripes. He's the guy who gets you feeling nostalgic. He's the guy who makes you believe.
Also, there could have been a conversation with Ruffalo at some point about him controlling it. Like there could have been some revelation, because he's like going to murder Black Widow, and then in the next scene he just like turns green and then he's standing with everybody taking orders. And Captain America probably should have played that role.
That would have been a great role for Captain America to play.
To be the guy who really talks because of his simplified ethics. Bruce Banner is this incredible super genius.
And he's incredibly cynical and
all this stuff. And so if Captain America's like simplified ethics would have inspired him, and then he would have learned something about the whole.
Yeah, because Captain America's got that perspective, and they really didn't play on it enough. They did a little bit. I'm not going to say they didn't play on it at all. He's got that great pre-Kennedy assassination optimism about America and about the American spirit and about what it means to...
And Chris Evans is great as him.
He just kind of got lost in the mix in this.
Yeah.
Like I said, I liked it. It's nitpicky stuff, but ultimately it's stuff that, like, well, it's the difference between a good campy movie and a great campy movie. My final word on the thing is, good movie, lots of fun, could have used another draft.
Yeah.
See it if you want to have a good time. Don't overthink it.
Yeah, don't overthink it. That's the key.
I see where you're coming from, but like for what you were working with the scope of the project, I expected it to suck ass. And it totally was. It was just a rocking good time, like start to finish. I really liked it.
Can you justify a high rating based on low expectation, though?
It's not low expectation. It's like all of the crap you had to wade through. You have, not to mention comic book fans who are crazy to start out with.
Oh, geez.
And then you have 5 movies leading up to this movie that you have to do justice to all of them. Could you imagine what that would be like? And they did a pretty good job, in my opinion. I'd give it an 8+ for sure.
7 for me.
I'd go 7.
7.
Yeah. I'd go 7.
Don't overthink it.
I think it would turn your brain off a little bit.
I think if they had
a comic
fixed,
book movie, man, I went into it with my brain off.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't, however. I kind of wish I could have, but
yeah, I went into it in cynical mode. So
yeah.
Cool. All right. See you next time.
Peace.
Oh, that was the ultimate douche move.
Where's the off button?